Hello, Magical World of Mushroom Marvellous. I hope I'm on the right page because I've got that many. How are you doing? Kylie Dixon here. I nearly said founder of the Northern Lass Lounge, but that's me of the business. Author, illustrator and creator of the Magical World of Mushroom Marvellous. And I'm going to be coming live on my page every week about lunchtime on a Tuesday to take us through how I became an author, because it's completely different to what I used to do in my job in a bank. And I think it's relevant because I go into schools and I inspire children to go and do whatever they want to do. Now I realise that there's lots of people who watch us on social media who are potentially wanting to write a book, right? Now I know that there's also people who would love to write a book. So I'm just going to share with you some of the things that I've done over the years and see how things have developed and how things have turned out just by doing some really practical things that I did, all right? So when you come on, let us know, have you ever thought of writing a story? And I'm moving my finger across the screen here to see who's on, and I want to know. Comments will appear here. Because I was a delay, isn't there, with basic. So as I'm waiting for you to come on, in this little segment that I'm going to do, I'm not going to be on for ages, alright? I'm going to show you the original drawing that I did of Inkap. I've had to really think back to how this happened because I don't give myself enough time to go, right, you've done that, and you've done that. I just don't, right? I'm just going to open up my Facebook on here to see if people are commenting, because I don't get to see who's on. Who's on? Let us know. I can't see comments. I just want to know. Anyway, stop bleeding on. So the first thing, right? So let us go right back. I've had to really think about when it was when I started all of this. So you've got to understand, I'd never even written a book before. Right? Loved reading. Loved everything about fantasy books. Loved children's books as well, young adults books, loved middle grade books, and I truly believe that the creativity that's up in my head is from reading fantasy or fiction books when I was little. So I read The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe 100 million times over the years, and it's changed the way I think about how it's impacted. That story impacted my life massively, and I tell this to the children when I go into schools and they're like, oh, I know which book you mean, and it helps them to understand how important it can be to start reading. Hence the reason I love what I do now. So, you all know the background if you've been watching this for a while. I've been working in the bank for 18 years, got me redundancy, started my business, Mushroom Marvellous, and the pandemic hit, lockdown hit, didn't it? So, I had a bit of a wobble, thinking, oh God, my art business is going to fail. And I set my group up because I thought, right, instead of wallowing in self-pity about your business potentially going to fail, you don't even know what's going to happen. It was the great unknown. Go and do something about it. So I started helping people at home try and stay positive by this group that I set up that I had no idea what I was going to be doing, by the way. I was just like, okay, I've got this group, I'll call it. At the time, I called it the Magical World of Mushroom Marvellous. It was a group. It's now the Secret World of Mushroom Marvellous, connected to this page. And I started doing tutorials and like little arty tasks and stuff like that. And then the community started to grow. And I'd already drawn Inkap, who's the main character of my book, right? That's Inkap. He was never ever intended to be in a book. Right? I've never thought, oh, I'll draw Inkap and he's going to be in a book. I just didn't know what route to go down with my artwork, and I thought about like doing colouring pages, and little collectible. I just honestly didn't know. I just started drawing these characters, and Inkap was the first one. So I started telling them, and I'll show you them now. I'll show you them. So that's the first drawing I did of Inkap. Okay, and look at how it's changed. Look at this, I'm even trying to draw eyes. I'd never illustrated in my life, as you can probably tell. I did art but I'd never illustrated, so look how he's changed, okay? And it says, I just had ink cap, poisonous, black on end of cap. He throws poisonous ink darts at enemies. So ink cap is the main character in my children's book series. He throws poison ink darts at his enemies. The darts are kept in his cap. He blows them out with his dart weapon. And I have got here that he has an energy. I knew that my characters wanted to be like, had to have some kind of power or something like energy, and it's got energy protection, right? So that's completely developed, because what Inkcap does now, they've all got they get these powers, and his is his blowpipe where he fires his ink capsules out of his blowpipe, all right? So I'd had that on my wall for years, right? It was stuck up on my wall, and I just kept looking at it thinking, how could I even develop this? So when I set my group up and I had families who were watching us quite regularly, I started talking to them about Inkcap, right? And they were like, oh, you should write a book. And I was like, really? Write a book? And I remember going on an online networking event, because everything was online, wasn't it? And I remember talking to people about it, and they were like, you don't want to show people this character yet, because I'd already developed him into that. They were like, don't, just try and do your research and stuff. So what I did was, the first thing I did was, obviously I started talking about it. It's so, and that's what I've said, tell people about it. If you've got a story in your head and you've got no idea how to get it down on paper or get it out there in the world, just start using the people around you and talk about it. Tell somebody about it. So many things have happened to me just of starting to talk about it and like explain what's going on, because you never know who you could be talking to who has an idea or know somebody. So that's exactly what happened to me. So I had a business advisor who was helping us with Mushroom Marvellous. And if you're there, tell us you're there, because I can see some people watching. I had a business advisor, she's called Mel. I'm still with her now, right? And she's just been phenomenal. Hello, Tina. Everyone can draw. She's been phenomenal throughout my business, right, since I started. Helps us with like loads of different things. She's helped us understand how to do my bookkeeping, how to start certain parts of my businesses up, right? Couldn't have done what I do without her. She's just so knowledgeable. Anyway, I started talking to her about a potential book, and she was like, well, of course you can. And I went, how do I even go about publishing? And I decided at that point that I was going to attempt to do self-publishing. I had no idea. I had to learn all about publishing. I was sending me work off to publishing houses, like traditional publishing, that's like Penguins and like Random House and all those kind of people, right? The big publishing houses, which you have to go through knockback after knockback after knockback, which I was willing to do, but I just thought, there's something about being self-published that shows your determination and your drive to make it work. So I spoke to me business advisor, and she went, oh, I know somebody who knows stuff about children's publishing. And I went, all right. And there was this guy called Luke. And this guy called Luke, I sent him information. I told him what I wanted to do. I was like, I'm potentially going to illustrate it. I don't know. And he, the little beaut that he is, said, I know somebody who proofreads, right? So that's the first check of your story. I know somebody who proofreads children's stories in your age group. And I was like, And that was Alexa Tewksbury. So Alexa Tewksbury is very much part of my dream team now. Like, we help other authors. She proofreads a lot of children's authors who are in my circle of authory people. And I remember sending her the email, and I was like, oh my God, what if she hates it? What if she hates it? And it was like an extract. I think it was a little extract and just a bit of a, this is what I do, and this is the type of thing I'm wanting to do. It's all based on my dad's allotment and all this and all that. And she came back to us and went, I can remember getting the email through, and I was like, oh, she went, it's absolutely a brilliant idea. She went, I cannot wait to work with you. and that was where it started. So Alexa Tewkesbury came from like me talking to people who watches and my business advisor, then from somebody else, who then sent it to somebody else, and then Alexa Tewkesbury was working with Alexa Whitten, who was the publisher, and she connected us with Alexa Whitten. And I remember like at first being really, really like daunted of the prospect of going to Alexa Whitten, who's a publisher down London. I was like, nah. Nah. I remember phoning her, and she was a bit like, I've told her this by the way, and she was a bit like standoffish on the phone. She was like, hi, yeah, I'm a bit busy at the minute. And I was like, oh right, okay. But then I kept on I got through it well, and then eventually we started talking, which I think what she saw how I was, because I'm very visible online, and she was like, hold on a minute, never seen this from an author before. And that's how it all started. So yeah, talk about it. That's it. You obviously have to write it, but I think talking about it gives you a little bit of accountability to go, I've said it now. I have to get it out there. So tell somebody about it, then tell somebody else, and start telling your story. I wouldn't have had the success with my books if I hadn't started telling people from the offset what I was doing. And this is what I tell people, or I advise people who ask us about, how do I market my book? How do I promote my book? I say, from the get-go, you have to tell somebody about it. Okay. So, tonight, Alexa Tewkesbury will be reading Incap and the Blight of the Bonnets. She's been reading it every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. She's fantastic at doing the characters. She absolutely has this skill as a down to a T and needs to be seen by the world. So if you see a little head pop up, can you just fling it about, share it, and come and... It's only a short video, but she's brilliant at what she does, all right? So give it a share when you see her, and I'll see you commenting if you're there at 6 o'clock. Fantastic for children to listen in, because she does all of the characters. She does. Okay, thank you for watching, Tina, and whoever else came on. I'm off out for a walk now. See you next week. Ta-ra.